NGMA, which is a premier institution of its kind in India, was inaugurated on 29th March 1954 at Jaipur House, Delhi by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. This historic inauguration was marked by an exhibition of sculptures by all the prominent sculptors of the time like D.P. Roy Chaudhary, Ram Kinkar Baij, Shanko Chaudhary, Dhanraj Bhagat, Sarvari Roy Chaudhary, to name a few, to commemorate 65th year of NGMA and 10th year of NGMA Bengaluru, which came into existence in the year 2009. We are happy to present Itihaas to the people of Karnataka and of course across the southern region of the country. The title of the exhibition, Itihaas, also reminds me of these lines of Harry S. Truman: "There's nothing new in the world except the history you do not know." Itihaas is a treasure excavated out of NGMA's permanent collection by none other than the Director General himself. It is an in-house curated exhibition, conceptualized, designed and curated by Sri Advait Gadnayak, Director General, National Gallery of Modern Art, who himself is an eminent sculptor of international fame. The exhibition encompasses some of the prize-winning treasures that dotted the debut of the institution in the year 1954, such as Head Steady and When Winter Comes by D.P. Roy Chaudhary, a portrait sculpture by Ram Kinkar Baij, a Standing Women by Dhanraj Bhagat, and Toilet by Shanko Chaudhary. The show strives to showcase the pioneers of modernist sculptors who made significant contributions to art and created sculptures and drawings that gave Indian contemporary art its first group of modernist legend. The exhibition is indeed a rare opportunity to view celebrated sculptures and gain insight to artistic, creative genius. The exhibition will be open for public viewing for about 3 months from now. During the period of the exhibition, it shall be our endeavor to organize as many outreach programs focused towards various categories of museum visitors so as to make the exhibition more meaningful, more educative, and engage wider cross-section of people. Hope you enjoy the exhibition as much as we enjoyed putting it up for you. A lot of effort and hard work have gone into executing this wonderful exhibition by Team NGMA Bengaluru under the able guidance of Sri Advait Gadnayak, Director General, and for that I would like to thank our DG for sharing his vision about this exhibition that inspired us to attempt and recreate Itihaas here at our galleries. I would also like to thank Ministry of Culture, Government of India for supporting our endeavor. Special thanks to the Advisory Committee of NGMA Bengaluru for their unstinted support. The exhibition was approved in the 5th Advisory Committee meeting held in July 2017 and was earlier scheduled to be inaugurated and open for public viewing from 29th of March this year. However, due to certain unavoidable circumstances and administrative constraints, there is a delay of about a month, which is regretted. Nevertheless, I'm sure all the wait is worth it for. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Sri T.M. Vijay Bhaskar for accepting our invite and gracing the occasion. Thanks to all the other distinguished dignitaries on the dais, Sri V. Nagdas, Sri K.J. Kumar, Sri Advait Gadnayak for sparing their time out of their busy schedule and joining us this evening. Special thanks to Mrs. Gadnayak, who has travelled all the way from Delhi, and of course Mrs. Bhaskar, and for joining us this evening. Let me put on record that I am really proud of Team NGMA Bengaluru for putting in their best and acknowledge their sincere efforts towards the successful realization of this extensive exhibition that we are going to preview in a short while from now. And last but not the least, thank you everyone for gracing this occasion and for being such a wonderful audience. Catalogs and souvenirs have been brought out in conjunction with this exhibition, and which are available for sale at our museum shop at very attractive price. I request everyone, kindly take a little bit of Itihaas with you, kindly grab some of them for your friends, relatives, and for now we look forward to your indulgence with Itihaas now and forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request the Director General
का बारे में सोचने से एक्चुअली 1954 में शुरू हुआ था एनजीएम में, लेकिन वो लोग क्या सोच के प्लान किए होंगे कि नेशनल गैलरी ऑफ मॉडर्न आर्ट कैसे होगा, क्या होगा। एक्चुअली मैंने जब चयन किया तब से वो पढ़ना पड़ा, एक एक देख रहा हूँ, क्योंकि इतिहास का बाद मैंने काफ़ी शो भी डिजाइन किया जो हमारा परमानेंट कलेक्शन है। 18,000 आर्ट वर्क है, मतलब देश का सबसे बड़ा ट्रेजर हमारा पास है, और कभी पब्लिक का पास आया नहीं सारी चीज। इसमें आप देखेंगे जब से कलेक्ट हुआ तब से वो बॉक्स का अंदर छुपा हुआ था। हमने कोशिश की उसको खोलने के लिए। एक्चुअली एक आर्टिस्ट उस टाइम जैसे सोचे होंगे कि कुछ स्कल्पटर को लेके शो करना, और मैंने भी ज्वाइन किया कि मैं भी एक स्कल्पटर हूँ, तो तुरंत उसको नजर में देखा कि सारे स्कल्पचर बाहर में कैसे था और अंदर में कैसे। और अभी आप एनजीएम दिल्ली में देखेंगे रेगुलर, कभी चेहरा का शो है, कभी रूपांतर का शो है, सारे स्कल्पचर। आपको लगेगा सचमुच जो स्कल्पटर बात कर रहे हैं कि हम 1954 का बाद जो कुछ भी हुआ। और एक्चुअली ऐसे भी हमारा सिस्टम में कभी कभी हम सोचते हैं कि नहीं, पुराना म्यूजियम में हम जब जाते हैं हमारा पास्ट को जितना हम देखेंगे और इतना आगे जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो हमारा ग्रैंडफादर की जो मेन पावर है जिसने इंडिपेंडेंट का बाद तुरंत, आप सोचिए उस टाइम ब्रिटिश का रोल था। 1954 में एक नेशनल गैलरी ऑफ मॉडर्न आर्ट सोच रहे हैं और तैयार भी कर रहे हैं। पंडित नेहरू जी बाहर घूम के सारे देखे होंगे, और हमारा राधा कृष्णन जी वो भी सोचे होंगे कि हमारा क्या कुछ होना चाहिए। और उस टाइम शांति निकेतन में गुरु जी भी कुछ सोच रहे होंगे, और सबका झलक आप देख सकते हैं इसमें कि कैसे कैसे कौन सोच रहा होगा, और आर्टिस्ट भी क्या सोच रहे हैं, हमको एक नेशन को कैसे हम प्रेजेंट करें देश में और विदेश में, सारा चीज आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं। और ये पहला शो था, उसका बाद भी हम रेगुलर 5-6 शो कर चुके हैं, और रेगुलर यहाँ पर भी इतिहास का अलग अलग पन्ना आएगा और आप लोग को उसको आनंद लेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, and thanks once again for conceptualizing such a treasured exhibition, which is seen rarely. I now request Mr. K.G. Kumar to say a few words.
A very pleasant good evening to all of you. Shri Vijay Bhaskar, the Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka, the Itihaas Chairman, Advisory Committee, NGMA, Bangalore, Shri Kadnayak, DG, NGMA, Ms. Nazneen, Corporate Director, NGMA, Bangalore, dignitaries who have come for attending this program, Mr. Vasudev, ladies and gentlemen. It's always so welcoming to come to this premises, the place where I spent some of my best times as the director and entered into the arena of artist community. All the time I was working with them, this was an opportunity I got to work with the artist community. This place has a great potential to mesmerize the visitors and its ambience, and of course the collections about which Mr. Kadnayak just now told. I am happy to see a leap jump in the activities of NGMA Bangalore in the past couple of years, and especially in the last 1 year. A place like this should always be buzzing with activities, and so it is. where people can sit in the lawns and see the works, unquote. A little of history, since we are going to have this Itihaas exhibition. If you can recollect that in 1994, a comet called Shoemaker Lady collided with the planet Jupiter, and that created the history by becoming the first observed astronomical collision. And it was named after Shoemaker. You are all aware of a car called Lamborghini. It's one of the best sports car, most sought after sports car. And it was created by Pareco Lamborghini, who was basically a mechanic during of Italy with World War II. Then you will be remembering the famous movies, The Guns of Navarone and Where Eagles Dare. It was all one of the best hits. That was written by Alistair MacNeil, he was a novelist and got converted into movies. And then there is a word called wave mechanics, especially for people like me physicists. It was coined by Schrödinger. Then the first manually operated parachute jump was done in Ohio by Leslie Lee Roy Irwin. The first commercial flight across Pacific was operated by Pan Am in 1990 and in 1937. And these are a variety of personalities and events. They share this date, April 28th. Shoemaker was born. Alistair MacLean was born this day. Then Lamborghini, he was born in 1916. Schrödinger proposed this on 28th of April, and then these are varieties of people, scientists, artists, writers, flyers, people with an extra adrenaline flow in them who share this date. All of them had an immense creativity in them. And NGMA Bangalore is making another history, Itihaas, by celebrating the 10th anniversary with this creatively designed exhibition. The personality whom I quoted, I believe if you have guessed him, has anybody guessed? It leads to what we are inaugurating today. Which is it? And then the acronym STEM was declared. STEM means science, technology, engineering and mathematics. But it was a matter short-lived when the International Society added the alphabet A and then it became C. A was for art. So there itself people knew that science, technology, engineering and mathematics need somewhere some art is needed. So it became STEAM. Based on that, world over the education system has slowly adopted a multi-option learning method where a student of science can choose music, fine art, philosophy, history or any other subject as an addition. We know several instances where people had interest in some other field but landed doing something else, which was either thrust on them by their elders or they had no choice because the schooling didn't allow them to pursue it. In my own case, I was interested in music. I joined museum. 3 alphabets were the same. I see what means it became EU. I became a museum. Anyway, this is a different line of thought. When we talk about A, the art, which is there in the STEM, there are very serious studies being done world over to finding out why some people are more creative, like our grandparents are. They can think differently. Why not be? Or why everybody cannot become a Picasso or Edison or Einstein or Steve Jobs? So, creativity is not just ability to draw a picture or design a product. You will be surprised to know that all of us are creative somewhere. Every day we think of something, if a pin breaks, we try to use something else as a pin. That is known as jugaad technology. Hindi में उसको जुगाड़ बोलते हैं, जुगाड़. So this jugaad itself is a creative and an innovative way of thinking. So in a scientific way, we say that creative tasks range from a small c and a capital C in the word creativity. The small C relates to these type of things, the Jugaad technology, what we do, creating a joke or creating a website which is already existing, you do some incremental innovations. But the capital C in the creativity talks about writing a speech, composing a poem, making a painting or sculpting, what DG and DMA is good in, or developing new science experiments, doing some new innovations. Normally we say left side of the brain is used for logical thinking, right side is for the creative thinking. And we also say that most artists and innovators think from the right side of their brain. The solution of creativity is not binary, it is not this left brain and right brain, it is more complex. Very recent research I was reading, talks carried out by Roger Beatty, working in the Shatter Memory Lab at Harvard University on examining creative cognition and brain network dynamics. It gives very different results. It's interesting to note that they did an experiment where they took about 165 people, and they were asked to think divergently on things of common interest. The most divergent answer was given a score. One of the questions was, they showed them a normal socks what we wear, and they said, what can you do with this? Some people answered that we can keep our feet warm. Normally we do only for that. Some of them answered that it can be used for filtering water because it has microbes. So thinking differently, and while such answers were being recorded, an MRI scan was done of the brain to find out where the blood is flowing. And in that process, they got some beautiful, results. And they found that there are 3 different networks in the brain. It is not the left brain and the right brain, 3 networks. They call it a default network, executive network, and the salience network. Now, little science, default network is the reason, probably when we think of, we are imagining, most of us we imagine, we do daydreaming, those are all the places where the default network is working. Your parents strongly what we do. What just now in his speech, Mr. Gandai was telling that when he saw those sculptures, he thought, what can be done with that? How we can bring it out? This time his default network was working. Then the executive network is the region of the brain which activates when you try to bring that idea, you start evaluating it, you determine how to do it, and then the thing comes out. And then there is a salience network, is the activity of the brain which switches between these two, executive and default. Whether I should do this, whether I should do that. This is the time when spin-offs are generated. Like in the exhibition, I was just checking with DGA, whether he has still brought those boxes which became the pedestal. Then those are the spin-offs. He thought, no, I can use this also as a pedestal. So this network continuously works, and it was found out that they don't work together, they work independently. And creative people are better to coordinate brain activities, networks which usually work separately. So these are researches happening to find out why we are creative. But it has already given some ethical issues. Now, it is being thought that whether neuro-HR, with human resource, will be used for hiring people and deciding their creativity. Many people will use their job who appear to be creative, but they will fail in these tests. Or can neuroscience help people with having a writer's block or artist having writer's block? After all, human beings, sometimes we are zero with ideas. So will this type of interference make a person more creative when he is not in a position to be creative? Or can neuromodulation be used to target key nodes in the creative network? So they say that in future you will be able to put a headgear. It will allow you to have high creative performance. So that means literally when we say he has put on his thinking cap and he is trying to do something, it will really happen. You will be putting a cap and then you start thinking different. All your other networks will be active. The entertainment may change with the virtual reality and immersive experiences increase manifold. with neural enhancement because of these things. There are issues that if a less creative person can be converted into a creative one, implicating identity issues. So these are all dangerous things which might happen maybe once we understand the